So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a news. So, according to Globalized News, Burkina Faso will look to stop export of minerals to Western buyers. When this news broke this morning, a lot of Western citizens were criticizing Burkina Faso and its president. And according to what one of them said, he said he has been praying to God for a long time for God to deliver the people of Burkina Faso from their president. And when I heard this type of statement, I was like, you don't even live in Africa. You don't even know where Burkina is on the planet. If they should remove all the name and tell you, show me where Burkina Faso is. If they label Mali and they label Niger, I'm sure that majority of those people don't even know where Burkina Faso is situated. And you are praying based on the information that has been released by France 24 and RFI, those lying mainstream media and BBC. And it's so surprising, actually. But when I look at this news, this could be a big strategic news. And I know that when people hear this type of information, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Are they the only one that has minerals? Now, let me take you forward into how this could be a very big blow. Now, what minerals are they talking about? What are the uses of those minerals? And what Western countries have been speculated to be among the countries that could be slammed with this export ban? So, number one country that has been mentioned is Canada, United States, Switzerland, and France. We do know that Burkina Faso actually stopped, trading with France, but we don't know to what extent. Okay, so France, Switzerland, Canada, and the United States has been part of the country that have been speculated to be part of those Western countries that are going to be affected by this ban. So now, what minerals among the many minerals that have been listed have been said to be most critical? Number one is the gold, which amounts to about 70% of Burkina Faso export. Now, what is the benefit of this gold? Gold is being used in your jewelries, electronics, investments, and the second minerals that have been talked about has been the zinc. Use your zinc in the galvanizing, production of your alloys and batteries. And the next mineral they actually talked about is the manganese, which can be used in your steel production and production of batteries. And the last mineral that they've talked about is the phosphate, which is very, very key to the production of fertilizers. So, a lot of people have been saying that Burkina Faso is not the only one that the United States got a mineral deal signed with the DRC. Nigeria is there, and a lot of other countries. Okay, here is the twist. When Captain Ibrahim Traore says something, let's take it back to when he actually said there would be ban on the exportation of raw materials, right? What happened? A lot of African countries, both the ones in ECOWAS and the one in the AES, they all banned exportation of raw materials.
I think now we have got something like 9 gold refineries here in Uganda. And Uganda now is exporting gold of 3 billion or something like that, dollars, from very low figure. Why? Because I banned the export of unprocessed gold. I said any gold which is not processed should not be exported. I banned the export of unprocessed minerals, including tin and all the other minerals, and copper. And because of that, investors were forced to come here, because they cannot take our raw materials free from here. Now, because of that, you have heard how that sector of gold has grown from about 200 million to now $3 billion a year. If we do this across board, the economy will grow.
We have the receipt, okay?
In a shocking and unexpected move, Guinea's junta has cancelled over 50 mining permits for gold, bauxite, diamonds and graphite. The decision comes as Mamadi Doumbouya, the junta leader, claims to be seeking greater control over the sector. The decree also ordered permits to be withdrawn from companies that do not comply with the country's mining code.
This country shouldn't be where it is. This country shouldn't be in debt. There's no way It is unjustifiable. I cannot, by the life in me, understand why we are where we are. I cannot. I refuse to embrace this unpleasant reality. I refuse. I am a persistent objector to this conventional and mundane existence. And yet we are sitting on trillions of dollars of mineral wealth. But it doesn't work. The Washington consensus is absolute nonsense. Don't come to me and tell me government must not get involved in the arena of production. No, I don't care from what school of economics you get it from, Chicago school, whatever. No, it's absolute nonsense. It doesn't work. And it will not work here. So let's try something we may even not know. Because the knowledge economy is an experimental economy.
There's a big shakeup in Ghana's gold trade. If you're into gold business, especially as a foreigner, you need to hear this. The Ghana Gold Board, aka Gold Board, has announced that starting April 30th, all foreigners must exit the local gold trading market. Why? It's because of the new Ghana Gold Board Act, Act 11140, passed in March and signed into law in April 2025. Here is what it means. All gold trading licenses given out by PMMC or Mines Ministry, if you are not a large-scale mining company, are no longer valid. Gold Board is now the only one allowed to buy, sell, or export gold from the small-scale mining sector.
In a groundbreaking decision that has sent shockwaves across Africa, Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has joined the ranks of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in a decisive move to ban the export of minerals from his country. The Malawian government has frozen exports of gemstones and other precious minerals and halted the issuance of new mineral export licenses. This drastic action is part of a broader effort to reform the mining sector, ensuring that Malawi gains full control over its vast mineral wealth, rather than allowing foreign corporations to reap disproportionate benefits.
So when Captain Ibrahim Traore makes a pronunciation in Africa, as far as this Africa stands right now, you might see some people coming out of media to dispute and all of that. But I'm telling you, directly or indirectly, a lot of countries start unashamedly taking quick, decisive decision, following in the direction. But just because of the shame, because in Africa, people take the age factor as a big thing. You have people saying that small boy, that kind of stuff, but they are still following in the same direction. Okay, so ECOWAS and the AES state, if he eventually follows through with this ban that have been speculated, we might have a situation where majority of African countries might be turning to different side of the globe to be trading with, and that would be a very big decisive blow on the West. In my own opinion, a lot of people that mention the name of Nigeria in this situation don't even know that the United States, as we speak, just slammed the 10% tariff on Nigeria for being an affiliate to the BRICS. Dmitry Medvedev actually came out and said if the United States put a 10% ban on the BRICS nation and their allied nation, it means that the BRICS is actually moving in the right direction. Okay, now a lot of people have been out to talk about how Nigeria as a country is against the AES state. I actually do think that majority of the Nigerian citizens are not against the AES state. You just have the people in governance that actually dislike what is going on in the AES state because it actually shows the highest level of incompetence that is going on in Nigeria. That is how I would put it. Captain Ibrahim Traore does not necessarily need to call out anyone, but everybody, they can see the statistics. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't, right? They can see the numbers. So the numbers in Burkina Faso is actually embarrassing to the rest of the democratic world in Africa, and that is why you have a lot of citizens. I even have a video recently, when Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana, was actually moving to a certain location in Ghana, and when the citizens actually, talked about his convoy, they talked about the vehicle and they tried to compare it to Burkina Faso. So for me, in my own opinion, I think a lot of Africans, I mean, the citizens of Africa, they always try to use the AES as a yardstick to measure the performance of the rest. But I can guarantee you, if he ends up moving in this direction, a lot of people might be looking to move in another direction. We have one young president in Africa that has actually systematically, directly or indirectly, unify a lot of African presidents. And I can tell you, some people don't want to join the AES state, but if they had the opportunity, I'm telling you, they would join. A lot of people have been talking about how much the leadership of Nigeria, tries to criticize the AES state. Okay, who are this leadership we're talking about? We're talking about the president, we're talking about the vice president. Okay, let's look at the vice president of Nigeria and tell me if he's not a certified puppet. We got the receipt here. Look at this man. This is not you being nice. This is you being a bozo. Okay. Now, look at the president of Nigeria speaking in the BRICS summit in Brazil. Now, let's listen to what this man had to say in Rio de Janeiro. That's our president, the great President Tinubu.
Nigeria therefore called on BRICS to lead a new path of justice anchored on fairness, sustainable technology, transfer and accessible financing, such that emerging economies can fully benefit from the various initiatives in this field. The African continent is creating the path through the African Carbon Market Initiative and Great Green Wall. We believe that eventually COP30 will strengthen our resolve to strategically embrace a healthy global environment. Nigeria strongly believes in South-South cooperation. We can therefore not be passive participants in global decision making. On this financial restructuring, debt forgiveness, climate change, environmental and global healthcare, we must be architects of a future that addresses the specific needs and concerns of youth, which represent 70% of our population in Nigeria. Therefore, we believe Nigeria remains guided by our long-term vision 2050 and nationally determined contribution. We are taking bold steps to accelerate renewable energy adoption, mainstream climate action, promote nature-based solutions, strengthen urban resilience, champion South-South cooperation, align with global renewal framework, achieving unilateral healthcare coverage for all. Addressing non-communicable diseases is a must. Excellencies, in conclusion, Nigeria stand firm with BRICS and stand firm in its resolve to transform challenges into opportunities through climate resilience, environmental stewardship, and health equity. As we approach COP30 and look to strengthen global health system, we believe the BRICS must not only be a bloc of emerging economies, it must be a beacon of emerging solutions and resolutions rooted in solidarity, self-reliance, sustainability, and shared growth, prosperity of a common future. Nigeria reaffirms its commitment to strategic collaboration that translates to sustainable and inclusive development for all. Thank you very much for your attention.
You see, first of all, when you look at the man behind the president of Nigeria, oh my God, when I looked at that guy, I felt embarrassed. When the president was speaking, if you look at the face of the guy behind him, he just says it all. He says it all. The whole talk was, man, God, how did we get to this point? I can't really explain how Nigeria got to this point. But to be honest, that's where we are. And from my own deduction of everything that was said, I'm looking at the president that is actually putting the BRIC nation on high alert that come. You have to borrow us money. That is what I feel. Or what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? So, guys, this is where we'll draw the curtain on the comments of Captain Ibrahim Traore on banning minerals. I mean, this is still, a speculated news, but it actually gained a lot of traction today. And I felt like, okay, I will drop my opinion about it. What do you think? So it's your boy 7200 signing out. No said, but before I go, I really appreciate you for staying logged in with us. See you on the next video.